Kherson's resident, Irina Radetska, is currently facing another chapter of wartime suffering as her city experiences catastrophic flooding due to the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam. They say a new love kills the old one. Maybe it's the same with tragedy, said Radetska, 52 years old and deputy head of a school in the southern Ukrainian city. Few places have suffered as much as Kherson since Russia invaded Ukraine in February last year. Radetska, who has endured imprisonment, beatings, and rockets, has experienced the brunt of the suffering. The city, with a peacetime population of 280,000, was occupied by Russian forces on March 2, 2022. It was later liberated by Ukrainian troops in early November, but it has been consistently shelled by Russian forces from the east side of the Dnipro River. Recently, large areas of Kherson and nearby villages were submerged after the Kakhovka Dam, located 55 kilometers, 35 miles upstream, was destroyed. Both Kyiv and Moscow have blamed each other for causing the damage. Due to the risk of shelling, Radetska's school now conducts online classes exclusively. Among the pupils are 31 individuals from the Russian-held East Bank, which was severely affected by the floods, including the town of Oleshki. As far as we know, Oleshki was flooded. The mobile connection there is very bad. They are very limited in their movements. Then there is the psychological question, she told Reuters, referring to the trauma experienced by the people. Leonid Remaya, the chief doctor of one of Kherson's hospitals, recalled the influx of people into the facility after the dam burst. Wet and upset, on the first day, we admitted 136 people. They were all in a state of stress. The recent events have added to the tragedy experienced by Radetska and Remaya, both of whom endured threats, imprisonment, and torture during Russia's occupation. Reuters was unable to independently verify their accounts of ill treatment. Moscow has repeatedly denied allegations of abusing civilians or soldiers. Remaya, 69 years old, revealed that Russia's military forced the hospital to treat its soldiers under the barrel of a gun. He also stated that the hospital staff took risks to provide covert assistance to local Ukrainian soldiers who remained in the city after the occupation. We provided them with care, registered them under fake names and surnames so that the FSB wouldn't catch them, he recalled, referring to Russia's security service. We sneaked them out of the hospitals so the local population could take them away and shelter them. Remaya mentioned that after being fired due to his pro-Ukrainian stance, he went into hiding for 6 weeks but was eventually detained by the FSB on September 20. There were interrogations every day, twice. This was all accompanied by abuse, such as electric shocks, baton strikes on the ribs, legs, knees, and fingers, he said. According to Remaya, on the third day of captivity, the Russians discovered that he was a doctor, and their treatment of him improved slightly. He was eventually released after 10 days. Radetska also shared her experience of imprisonment and torture during the occupation. She stated that during the summer of 2022, she declined offers to return to work at her school. When she went to the school on August 17 to collect her belongings, she had an argument with the new headmaster, which resulted in her arrest the next day by FSB officers. They told her that she faced 25 years in jail on terrorism charges. The cell was meant for 2 people, but there were 7 of us there, she said. There were 2 narrow beds, and everyone else slept on the floor. Remaya stated that she was beaten, which caused spinal injuries that she is still recovering from. She added that she was released after 9 days but was given a choice between recording a video apologizing for her actions or facing execution. Russia's FSB did not immediately respond when asked to comment on the allegations made by Remaya and Radetska. The liberation of Kherson brought jubilation to many residents, including Radetska and Remaya. However, the euphoria was short-lived as the city continued to face artillery and rocket fire from across the Dnipro River, hitting it almost daily. Radetska mentioned that her school had been hit several times, including the day before the dam burst. We hadn't even had time to process this and get used to the thought of the school being bombed when another tragedy struck, she said. Today, we probably don't have a single family that hasn't faced the consequences of war, whether it's death, destruction, or fear. People have become different. Children have become noticeably different. They've become more grown up. Like many remaining residents, Radetska is convinced that the city will recover and thrive, but she expects the process to be long and difficult. Out of approximately 1,400 children registered at her school, just over 100 remain in the Kherson region. The rest are in other regions of Ukraine or abroad. Remaya stated that slightly over half of his hospital staff, which numbered around 1,200 before the invasion, still remain. Of the entire workforce, only 12 fled to Russian-controlled areas when Ukrainian forces returned. We have to show the entire world and ourselves that Kherson is a city of freedom-loving people, and despite everything that's happened, we will definitely survive here, he said.